Let's do this. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of In Conversation with on my channel, How to Train Your Gavin. Today, I have the incredibly uber talented author, Roshani Chokshi. Roshani, thank you so much for being with me today.
I'm very, very happy to be here. Hi, everyone.
Oh, I'm just so excited, like seriously. So one of the reasons why we're doing this actually is because we have a book coming out soon, and it is the fourth book in the Pandava Quintet series, which I mean, other people might know it as Aru Shah series, but it is the fourth book, and it comes out on April 6th in the United States. And a fun fact, it actually comes out the day before my birthday in the UK, which is May 6th. My birthday is May 7th. So I found out recently that Roshani actually wrote the fourth book as a birthday present to me. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
I did. It's true.
I mean,
It was supposed
yeah,
to be a
it's,
secret, and here you are telling everybody.
I know I pieced it together. I'm sure everybody else can do the same thing. So you try to be sneaky with that, but we saw it. We saw through that. So yeah, I have left all of the pre-order links and everything in the description box. So if anybody wants to pre-order from the UK or America, all the links are in the description, as well as all of the socials for Roshani, Instagram, Twitter, all that jazz. So yeah, do check that out. So as people are tuning in, I'm so excited because I really wanted to. Oh, well, I always start with these kind of icebreaker kind of questions for Roshani and for any author who I have on, and it's the most fun time. I never know what to expect from the answers from these.
Oh, no.
So, I mean, the first one's not too bad actually. So, first one is. Aru Shah is filled with so many pop culture references. Like for me personally, it's quite a fun time trying to piece what fandom it's from. If it's not specifically stated what fandom it is, I'm like, oh, what fandom's that from? So my question to you is, what is something that you are the most fan of? Like, what are you obsessed with? And is it Sailor Moon? Have I got it right?
Yes, very obsessed with Sailor Moon. Very obsessed with Sailor Moon, and very, very obsessed with Lord of the Rings. I mean, especially the movies. I don't know. I watched the movies first when I was a kid, and then like worked my way through the books and everything. But just that entire cozy aesthetic and the idea that I could be a hobbit in a round home eating pie.
Oh my gosh.
To me. So
yes. And how many breakfasts do they have? Like
oh
2,
God,
3?
the second breakfast and the 11 keys. Why isn't my life like
this? There is, I mean, when I listen to the ambience, of Hobbiton and like all of that, when I'm just chilling or just reading, I'll put on the ambience for that. And it's honestly the vibes of that series is just second to none.
So joyous.
But also you said Sailor Moon. I mean, I know we've just become besties and I don't want to jeopardize that, but I've never actually seen Sailor Moon.
What? Oh my God. It's so delightful. It's so good for your soul. Everybody is friends. All the outfits are color coordinated, and so are the powers. I mean, I definitely threw that into Aru Shah, and I was like, this girl gets this color and this one gets that one. I was really, really pleased with myself for doing that. So
I'll watch it all, and then by the time like I guess next year rolls around when maybe the final book comes out, then I will have watched all of Sailor Moon and I can be on your level, which is quite high up. Do you have a favorite fictional villain or like creature?
Ooh, a fictional villain. Oh.
Yeah, because you're so good at writing them, so I was like, well, surely you have a favorite. Like, do you have any inspiration from any villains, maybe?
Oh my gosh, of course not. The minute you ask me, I can't think of a single one. Well, I think that villains, of course, with rich backstories are super, super interesting. One that I really loved, I guess this book didn't come out so recently, but did you read Uprooted by Naomi Novik?
Oh no, but I did just get a Deadly Education, and I can't wait to read it. So
yeah. Her world building is exquisite, but Uprooted, especially, for adult audiences, is it feels like a cozy sweater of a book. And in it, the antagonist is not what I thought they would be. And their motives were really, really deeply personal, and as I think they should be. So So that was a really satisfying villain. I liked that. So.
Oh, okay. That is bumped right up my TBR. Not gonna lie, that's gone right up. I love this question. If you were a wrestler, what would your entrance music be?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So my husband is obsessed with The Weeknd. And because like, you know, his version of just like, I know like a night's gonna just be like, uh-oh, why is there fireball, like kind of thing. But that's always fun, of course, pre-COVID. Anyway, but if he plays Starboy by The Weeknd, it just gets everybody hyped. And then I know like my claws come out and I'm just like, the Saturday is mine for devouring. So
That is such a good answer, actually, because you do want everybody to be like, yes, Roshni's on her way. She's gonna beat whoever she's in the ring with. It's a much better answer than mine, because I was gonna pick "My Heart Will Go On" by Celine Dion, because I want everyone to cry. I want everyone to cry when I come out. So
I just feel like, you know, those once upon a time when we all could, and you're at the bar or you're at a, you know, those sort of horrible dance clubs where everybody's embarrassed to be there, but the music is really good. There's always the song where all of, you know, at the first I'm just like, I'm too sophisticated to be seen here, etc. But the minute I hear like a song which is horrible, but that for whatever reason I love, like Fifth Harmony's Work, I don't know, I just start shoving people off the dance floor. I'm like, make way, here I go with my broken back, let's do it. Dancing thing. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the way I relate to that, honestly, it's scary.
The energy that I bring to any public place is just like a parent who's intent on just embarrassing their offspring. I don't even have kids, but that's the energy that I bring into my daily life.
Everyone gets secondhand embarrassment, so everyone else's kids.
Everybody make way. Anyway.
Well, I love that answer. That is a fantastic answer. Now every time I listen to it, that's all I'll think about now. You pushing people out of the way.
People out of the way. Like,
move! So I guess you did mention Lord of the Rings as one of your ultimate fandoms. And the next thing I was going to ask was, is there a movie that you would like to be sort of transported into? But like, would you want to be transported into like Mordor, like, or would you pick something a lot more safe?
See, I have such bad direction that I would be aiming for like Galadriel's Glade and end up like in Mount Doom. I'd be like, no, I've taken a terrible turn. Something has gone totally wrong. That's definitely where I'd like want to go. I would aspire to end up and just be able to wander through it, but I'm sure it will go wrong and turn on me. I also feel like another movie thing that I love. There's this older movie that what's it called? Penelope. It has like Christina Ricci in it and James McAvoy. And it's sort of this like reverse Beauty and the Beast kind of setup. It's one of my favorite movies and not a lot of people have seen it. And there's something about the cityscape in it that feels both familiar and very whimsical, and I'd like to rent an apartment there and go to their coffee shops. That's what yeah.
That sounds really interesting. And as you said, not a lot of people haven't seen it. I'm one of them. Oh my God, I'm terrible. It's like, I haven't seen anything, okay? Like,
I think you'd like it. Have you seen Schitt's Creek?
Oh gosh, I started watching the first season. I haven't finished yet, so don't spoil it. Okay, but I heard people say it gets better, so I'm watching it.
It's so delightful, but it has the same actress who plays Moira. So what is it called?
Catherine O'Hara.
Yes. She's fantastic in Penelope, and it's just such a weird, delightful, soft, romantic movie. I highly recommend it. Yeah, and it has some ambiance music too that might appeal to you.
Oh, 100%. I'm getting it on. If it's on Netflix. Or if I have to buy it, it's fine, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Ooh, so a last kind of randomish question then is, what were you like when you were Aru's age? And is she like 14 now, I think? She's
15. Oh, wait, no.
15 now?
My end. Yeah, I'm writing the 5th book right now, so she's 15. Yeah, but in City of Gold, yeah, she is 14.
Okay, and what were you like when you were her age? Do you remember?
Oh, Oh my God, yes. What feeds me and pays my bills and allows me to buy designer shoes is literally my never-ending middle school trauma. And it's just the adolescent demons that I carry with me from place to place, where I'm like, if you're going to be here for my whole life, you might as well, start earning your keep, sort of thing. So I was an absolute monster as a 14-year-old. I was a wreck of a human being. I was a liar. I was just a monster. And I was very, very imaginative, and I had no actual talent. I was like the sort of person that was just waiting for someone to tell me I was special when I wasn't. I wasn't good at classes or any of that. But I did have a really good group of girlfriends, many of whom are still my friends now. So that core group of girlfriends and my little baby sister, who's not a baby anymore, definitely makes up the bond of us sisters and informs like who they become. But yeah, no, I was so weird at 14. Remind me to tell you at the end, like the most embarrassing. Well, I'll just tell you now. Do you want to hear like my terrible story? Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. So at 14, like deeply romantic and just, but like really weird about it. Like I think I wandered once into a forest when it was raining because I just read Tithe by Holly Black, and that was how the main character had found a beautiful, sexy elf prince who then fell madly in love with her. And I was like, I too would love a beautiful, sexy elf prince. So I wandered into the woods trying to find one, and the only thing I got out of it was bronchitis. So that was an awful time. But because like Aru, I lack no filter, I lack no, that's not right. I have no filter. That's a double negative.
Yeah, I had to think that.
So at 14, I heard about this family that was moving into our neighborhood and how smart the boy was, how he was going to be starting in the same grade as me, how he got straight A's and I didn't, and just, all sorts of like odd comparisons they start making when you're young and not good at anything. And I remember the first day of high school, I saw him, and I had like this preconceived notion in my head that he would be really like, I don't know, like boring and just like a goody two-shoes kid, but he was beautiful. It just struck lightning into my soul. And the sun was shining and the wind was blowing, and I thought my hair looked good at the time. And because I'd watched his house being built all summer long, I yelled at him, "Hey, you, I know where you live," like really, really loudly. And in this way that like, I couldn't come back from it. There was nothing I could do. And that was so bad. And
my gosh.
Yeah.
I just thought in Aru Shah too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
It's based on some real actual trauma. We had to carpool every single day for a year. He never spoke to me. It was horrific. And like this week we celebrated our 2-year wedding anniversary, but that was freaking awful.
Oh, really? Oh, bless you. Oh gosh. I mean, I can tell you're a storyteller because that was, I mean, at least your hair looked good at the time too. I mean,
it's really it's a big detail, but yeah, that's how I met my husband. That's why I stalked him. So.
Oh my gosh, I love that though. Ooh.
He kept showing up where he lived. I pulled an Edward Cullen. That's not right. You shouldn't do that to people. So just keep showing up and you know where they live. That's I don't know.
But oh my gosh, like now I've got like ideas in my head about Aru Shah. Okay, that's all good. Like, thank you for telling me that. Like, thank you so much. That's made me really happy. Before we move on, actually, Mel asked a question about like, have you seen the director's extended cuts of Lord of the Rings?
No, I haven't. Clearly, I need to. I need to do this.
Apparently so, but that's so long.
Thank you, Mel. You've set my life straight. I'm going to do this like immediately.
Yeah. Yes, before the end of the year, that can be a goal. So getting into Aru Shah then, because I'm just trying to get over that story, to be honest.
It's a lot. It's a lot to take in like multiple layers of like, is she okay?
Yeah. Well, we know that it does turn out fine. Like it does have a happy ending. But anyway. So with Aru Shah then, I mean, as you mentioned before, kind of your career as a writer has been sort of fueled by, I guess, all of this trauma. I mean, we had the real life situation that happens in Aru too, and all of that. So has being like, or at least writing Aru Shah, has that always been like there inside you, like actually writing this series, and like, how did it come about?
Oh gosh, I think Aru has always been with me, honestly. I loved writing and reading fan fiction when I was growing up. And to me, like that was like my earliest writing practice, to be able to use other people's characters and use their world. It's like trying on an older sibling's clothes and like walking around in it was how it felt, comforting, and with the promise that one day you might grow into it. And so Aru really emerged from my love of Sailor Moon. I wanted to write about a group of girls who like were powerful and who, above everything else, loved each other. Some of my earliest stories were about writing myself and my best friends as the protagonists. And so Aru kind of had lived in my head as this idea like, oh, wouldn't it be fun to write a version of myself doing all these cool things. And I know Aru was not like a carbon copy of me or anything, but I did give her a lot of who I was when I was 14. And I remember it was like 2016 when we first heard that Rick Riordan was starting this imprint at Disney, and that he was looking for stories in the same vein as Percy Jackson, but written by authors of that cultural tradition. And it was such a smart, sensitive, like a wonderful way of him sharing his platform with authors of color. And I heard that extremely intellectual statement, and my brain said, Rick Riordan wants your fan fiction. And I was like, no, he doesn't. I'm like, no, Rick Riordan is going to pay you for your fan fiction. And I was like, well, brain, if you say so. I went home. And that weekend, I wrote the first 3 chapters of Aru. I sent it to my agent, and I was like, I don't know. This is, can you try to do something with this, or we'll see what happens? And, trying to sell my first book, that took us like 6 months, almost a year, and then 12 revisions. So I had no expectation that anything would happen. And then like less than a week later, we got the news that he was reading it, and that he had the pages in his hands, and that he enjoyed it. And that's how Aru came about. I don't know, from those 3 chapters and a really crappy synopsis, which of course I've completely changed everything about. My editor, who's amazing, was like, what's going to happen next? Me, this stuff. What ended up happening? Nothing that I said. I lied, I'm sorry. But from there we got a 4-book deal, which eventually became 5. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, that story in general, because I mean, it's a huge thing, I guess, like a Rick Riordan imprint with Disney Books and in all of that, Disney Hyperion. But it must have been so daunting as well. I mean, were you scared at all when all of this was happening? Like, what if, you were the first one? Like, what if it didn't, become something? Like, was that a challenge for you to overcome?
I think that at the time I had 2 books published, or one book published and another book written. And I was so, my advice, I think, to aspiring writers is to have some narcissism. Like have the self-confidence to be like, absolutely, somebody should pay me way too much money. I'm gonna just do whatever I want because I'm a genius. That is how I felt before I discovered Goodreads. And then after that, I was like, well, never mind.
Not Goodreads. Oh my gosh, not that hell site. Oh no.
Well, the thing is like when you create something, what a feat, first of all, to write something and to finish it. And I say that to anybody who's listening who is a writer, because if you finish something, you have done the impossible. And for me, as a writer, the thing I've had to realize is that once I finish it, it's not mine anymore. I can't control how someone's going to accept it. I can only hope that with every story I'm privileged to write, that there is something in it that I love so much that I want to find out how it ends. So I would say that's how I started with writing Aru Shah, just coming from a place of just joy and wanting to revisit the stories that my grandmother told me when I was growing up. So it was very much a labor of love. And I found that helped give me the armor to be like, I really don't care what someone thinks about it, which is not true. There are days where I'm just like, oh, I hate everything and I'm a fraud. But for the most part, I just think, I'm not trying to tell people the Hindu mythology 101. I'm just trying to illuminate my own experience, my own truth, if you will, and to to write a love letter to my childhood, and especially to my grandparents who took the time to tell me these stories.
I mean, that's beautiful. And also, like, I hope that if you do see anything on Goodreads, like, it's just, unless it's from me, of course, but like, no, I love how
it's great. Like, I really do. It's a good space for readers. I made the mistake of introducing my dad to Goodreads. And this man, he is like the epitome of 3 stars. I loved it. And I was like, Dad, everyone hates you. Like, every author hates you. He was like, I liked it. I just think that 3 stars. Like, what the hell?
3 stars is very it's up to interpretation a lot. I mean, that's well known.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love how your advice for aspiring authors has kind of grown. I remember back in 2017, I think you did like a 67 questions thing, and you were asked, and you were asked, what's kind of the advice that you would give aspiring authors, and you were like, run. It's just, it was the funniest thing. I know you were joking, but like, I mean, that is definitely great advice as well. So I guess you wrote Aru for you, essentially. That's the bottom line. I love that as well. You can always tell in someone's work when they are writing from the heart, and the Aru Shah books are just so. I mean, I mentioned this before, like about, you know, the inclusivity of, you know, so many different characters, so many different people, and it's so heartfelt. I love it. What is your favorite thing about the Pandava Quintet series so far? Like, what is it about it that you love to come back to? So, as you said before, it went from 4 books to 5. So there's obviously, you know, something in it that you just love coming back to, and it must. Like, I don't want it to end. Like, I really don't want it to end. I don't know how it's going to feel for you. But I guess there's just something in it that you just love the most.
And I hope people really feel this in Aru Shah and the City of Gold. But those character interactions, having people say stuff out loud to one another, has been really, really rewarding and also very challenging as an artist. I think that I don't know, like when we say that a character runs away from us on the page or takes on a life of their own, there are moments where when I'm writing the Aru Shah series, I just, you know, 2 hours can go by and it's just dialogue of them being dorks, and it's so much fun. I don't know, like that I think that's the thing I keep coming back to. And just, I'm so happy that I get to write children's literature. I think that when we, you know, writing middle grade and writing young adult fiction is a constant exploration of firsts. And like, we never forget that, no matter how old we get. We never forget that falling in love for the first time often feels like you're dying, you're like suffocating, you have all these emotions, and the world and horizon is tilting on the stranger's smile, and the moment where you feel betrayed, or the world just got a little smaller, or something like that. That I never get tired of seeing somebody find out that they're so much stronger than they think they are by the end of the story. I think it's really uplifting.
Yeah, and I guess it's almost like a fulfilling kind of thing. As you said, like, Aru was somebody who's kind of always been a part of you. So I guess just to see her come to life, and she must mean like the world to you as well, and you must be so protective of her too. But I love how you said it's like really fun, especially for the dialogue, and, you know, people can geek out and stuff. One of my favorite things about the series is her like friendship with Minnie, and like just their banter is just, oh, it's so on point and so humorous. So the things that I love as a child, children these days don't love. Like, I figured this out the hard way with my niece and nephew. I try and give them some kind of, you know, pop culture reference of something I loved as a kid, and they're like, what? So like, for you, like, do you have to struggle with that as well? Like, when you're writing, you know, I mean, predominantly for kids and stuff, like the humor and stuff. Is that a hard balance to have when you're geeking out, but like, will kids reading it now understand it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess I sort of wrote myself in a hole in that way. I hope that the books are successful enough that someone will let me update it like 7 years from now and just fix all the jokes or something. All the things that are just terribly aged, like the Despacito scene in book 2, which delighted me to no end, but which I don't even know if people are like familiar with it now. Like the up and coming readers who are aging into reading Aru Shah. But yeah, the balance of it, it's odd. I don't think a lot about writing, like intentionally writing a humorous scene. I just think about the things that delight me, or like the weird things I've done just growing up. Like, oh my God, my sister. Oh God. So my sister had this boyfriend. He's fine, whatever. So he came over, and I guess like my brother and I were really not excited to meet him. I was like 22, and I greeted him by like shoving a pillow down. Well, I had a pillow shoved down the back of my shirt, and I just sort of slouched into the hall. And I don't know why my dad had a shepherd's crook, but he did. We don't even have sheep. I don't know where I'm going with this, but yeah, anyway, I mean, I pantomimed as if I was like, come back, you little lost lamb. Just being an utter creep. Anyway, these things delight me.
Well, as we said, you're writing Aru for you, so it doesn't even matter.
Oh God, yeah, I don't know. I highly recommend that. If there's someone in your family who has a new partner, you don't like them. Nobody likes it if you walk sideways at them. Nobody trusts that. It's like you get into an elevator and somebody's facing opposite of the doors. I would leave. I would just be like, what are you doing? Anyway, yeah, I could have written a primer on just how to freak people out. So
I love it. I love it. This is why you're my kind of person. So, I love. Somebody said before as well. It might be Danny said. I need to take relationship advice. Oh, yeah, Gav, listen to Roshani's dating advice. This was to do with, I know where you live. So I'm going to take that.
It can go one of two ways, But if it goes the way that you want it to, it's great. So,
yeah. Got nothing else to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, dignity, that's already gone.
Dignity, who needs that? Nonsense.
Exactly. Doesn't sell books, it's fine. So I mean, I love this comment as well. I love that this is a homage to the stories your grandparents told you. History and culture is important. So for you, the Aru, well, for everyone, because everyone reads it, the Aru Shah books does incorporate, the Hindu mythology that I think a lot of people absolutely adore. For me personally, I learned so much from the characters and from the different kind of the figures that you put in there and the different stories and tales that really weaves in with Aru's story. So, I mean, there's a lot that goes on. Like, one thing is Aru Shah is not boring. Like, it's the least boring books you will ever read. So for you, how do you keep on top of all of the kind of stories that you're introducing? Because I mean, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here, but like, you don't just throw in like a name or a story. You don't just throw it in. It's like a lot of it is cause and effect. There's a lot of consequences to Aru doing something or interacting with someone. There might be a curse. There's a prophecy. There's lots of things that gets woven into it. How do you keep? We're 4 books in. Well, for us, you're on book 5, but like we're 4 books. How have you kept on top of that and not lost your own place?
I don't start to write something until I know how it ends. So I feel as if I've known the ending for Aru for years. And I feel that way with all my books. I've had the last line of the Gilded Wolves trilogy in my head for eons, which I know is something that gives the readers a lot of grief. Like, what do you mean, the last line? How does it end? Like, what? That sounds ominous. It is ominous. These are very different series. In Aru, I gave my hope, and Gilded Wolves, I gave my existential crisis. So I don't know. But I think that those epics, the Mahabharata and the Ramayana, they are so rich and full of nested stories, nested cultural traditions, and also a lot of philosophy. So when I use the term mythology, a lot of people think that I mean it in the mainstream sense, which is this is an untrue story. But Hinduism and Hindu mythology, they are deeply, deeply intertwined. These myths are inextricable from the sacred, and it's something that I I try to approach with the utmost respect, but everyone will feel differently about how somebody plays, I suppose, with the sacred. And so for me, when I'm talking or thinking about these stories, I have the philosophy of the epic in the back of my head. People who are familiar with the source material of Aru Shah, which is Mahabharata, are very familiar with the character that Aru is the reincarnation of, which is Arjun. And Arjun is really complex. This is someone who has a lot of doubts, who's been given extraordinary, above human powers, and if anything, finds themselves like overwhelmed and trapped and claustrophobic with it. So when I'm thinking about how I'm bringing in different threads of myths or different Rig Vedic era gods and goddesses, I'm thinking a lot about how that informs the philosophy of the story. So that's how I keep it straight in my head.
Because it makes sense that way, because it's not just, it makes sense to the story, and it's not just kind of like filler, if you know what I mean. Like it's important. It's really important for Aru and in her journey and with her friends too.
I'm glad to hear that you think that.
Oh, honestly, like, oh God, I'm obsessed. So a question from Dem actually, which of the Aru Shah well, before we talk about like City and Gold and stuff, which of the Aru Shah covers do you like the best? Do you have a favorite one, or
completely.
they're all your? I was gonna say they're all your babies, right? I mean, can you pick
they're
one?
all my babies, but I really have to say, I think that Abigail de la Cruz knocked it out of the park with Aru Shah and the City of Gold. I mean, it's a cover that just has so much presence to it, and what a joy, like, to see, from Aru and the Aru Shah and the End of Time, like how, the whimsy of that, and Aru as this sort of central figure, and how as the story gets bigger, her life gets bigger, the stakes get larger, and I really love seeing that reflected in the series.
Yeah, I mean, you would have seen the UK covers, right? So have you seen the City of Gold cover for the UK?
Oh no, I haven't actually. That's the one I haven't seen yet.
Oh, it's very bright. It's good. It's good, but it's very bright. It's very bright. It's obviously it's not out yet, so I don't have it. But if it was on the shelf, it would probably like you'd have to have sunglasses on or something. I mean, but it looks amazing.
Good.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, it looks amazing. I can't wait to get it, and then I'm gonna have to import all of the American ones because again, like I love how the covers are different. You can sort of kind of you're a little bit spoiled for like choice as a reader. Like you have like so many different ones that you can pick from. So I love that. Love the
covers. I actually turned the Gilded Wolves cover into my wedding dress for my reception. I literally had it made like that. I know. It's a little
that's incredible. Yeah, that's incredible.
No, the entire decor of my wedding was just like my books. My husband was like, really? I'm like, yes, this, everything. Everything.
Again, why not? This is the best stuff that'll ever happen. So why not? I guess we can talk about City of Gold now. I do want to raise a glass to you and toast to Aru Shah and the City of Gold. You have your cold coffee now. I'm so sorry.
Good cheers.
Cheers. But I'm just like so like excited for you. The fact that this is 4 out of 5 now. How excited were you? Like, I don't know how long ago it was when you started writing the City of Gold. What were you excited? Because after you left Tree of Wishes on a cliffhanger, which honestly I mean, a lot of stuff happened actually at the end of Tree of Wishes that I'm like, what? So I'm excited to read anyway. But were you excited to get back into it? So like, if you cast your mind back to when you first started writing it, like, was it an exciting feeling for you?
Yeah, it really was. I mean, honestly, I felt like, when you. It's like you write a really cool ending, you're like, haha, and then you're like, crap, where do I go from here? I don't know what I've done to myself. So the beginning of Aru Shah and the City of Gold was really tricky for me. Like I didn't know how to like get her out of a particular situation, and how to keep the story moving. And the character that you guys will meet in Aru Shah 4 is someone who, like, she shocked me. She really shocked me. and I don't want to give too much away about her, but I had a lot of sympathy for her, and it surprised me because she was not. I didn't mean to write her like that.
Oh my gosh. Like, I love the fact that she is still surprising you 4 books in as well.
Yeah.
Like that must keep it so fresh and exciting for you as well. Because I mean, what was the process writing that? Did you have to write that last year when everything was going on? Like, what was the experience writing the 4th book compared to the first 3?
Oh, well, you know, we were very, very fortunate to, you know, all of our family has been safe, and nobody got sick, and I don't know how to explain it. When the world shut down, I was actually supposed to be on tour for Aru 3, and I remember that I was really, really exhausted by that point. I had 2 books that I needed to write, and that they were both due June 1st. And I didn't know how I was going to do it. I had like chronic pain in my hands and all these other like ridiculous issues. And so I found myself that it was like an unexpected boon to be told to stay indoors and not do anything. And I think in a way, it let me have the time to like get to a polished version of the draft faster. When everything was quiet and I wasn't worried about like where I was supposed to be and things that I had to do, I was left with the piece of figuring out and like really just sinking into what Aru's emotional mindset would be following the events of book 3. Like I had a loose idea of where I wanted them to go in book 4, what I wanted to happen, but those emotional beats of figuring out how to get there ended up being really rewarding to write. So that I was very fortunate for that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, I'm so happy to hear that your family's all doing well and safe and all of that. It's always reassuring as well to hear like really positive stories during like a time like this.
Yeah.
So that's really good, and it must be.
I mean, we had some funny, terrible things. So my husband is a resident in orthopedic surgery. And at the start of all the pandemic stuff, so this man, he's very attractive, but he looks like a sexy Jafar is his vibe, which is great. So husband with his beard, okay? Like that's key. Gavin, oh no, you need to mourn with me because this is something very sad that happened. He went to the hospital because he had to operate on someone. Unfortunately, it turned out that patient who needed like shoulder surgery was COVID positive, and they didn't have enough of the protective physician equipment at all. And so in order for him to like fit this face shield over him, he had to shave his beard. And okay, so this man, he didn't just shave his beard. He shaved off his beard, but he left behind a Ned Flanders mustache. And I was like, just a mustache, just like a badger just sitting on his face. And I was so offended. I was like, I'm tired. We're in the middle of a pandemic. The world is on fire, and you come home looking like ethnic Ned Flanders to like add like salt to the wound of our existence. Are you kidding me? That was a very bad day.
I can imagine. I mean, from Jafar to Ned Flanders. Oh no!
It was so sad.
I mean, you're allowed to feel sad about that. You're allowed to. So
I mourned.
I mean, I'll mourn with you. Has it not grown back or anything? Or?
No, he's Indian. He came back in an hour, but I was upset.
Amazing. Well, I'm glad it's back. So with this being the penultimate book in the Pandora Quintet series, what can we look forward to? Like, do we have to be scared? Like, usually with like penultimate books, when I'm thinking back, it's like some of my favorites. It is usually like building towards something that'll happen in the final book. So I guess my question really is: are we going to get questions and answers to some of the things that we've had previously? I mean, I know we can't like spoil anything and say too much, but like, what can you tell us? What can we look forward to in the new book?
Many things will be answered.
Many things will be answered.
Yeah. But it's not going to be a neat ending, but it necessitated that. So hopefully, but there's a thing that happens, which I hope many of you will be happy about. And that's all I'm gonna say about it.
Oh gosh, there's so many things that would make me happy is the thing. So I'm just like, how do I narrow it down?
There is a scene that I'd been excited to write about for like 4 years. So I was really excited I got to write that.
Oh, interesting. Once I've read it, I'm gonna have to ask, like, which scene was it? Like, is it this scene? Is it that scene? And then see if I'm right. I need to know. I mean, obviously you can't say too much, which is like killing me as well. But I mean, with Aru and Minnie, as I've said, like their relationship is incredible. What can we expect from them two in this book? Like, what are you going to test them like even more than you already have? Like, what's the vibe? Like, what if you could describe their friendship in this book in 3 words? What would it be? I guess is. Tricky questions now. I'm pulling out all the stops.
Very realistic sisterhood is what I'll say.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, it's the people that you love the most that can bruise you the most or who can frustrate you the most. And I think a lot about that because Aru has, after the revelations in Tree of Wishes, she is someone who she's not satisfied that there aren't neat answers, and she's torn by those realizations versus I think her sisters have an easier time compartmentalizing certain truths. So that can make her feel like at odds with them, but that love is never goes away. And I think sometimes that's the problem, that you do love someone so much.
Yeah, and it's the most important thing about the series is the characters in all of that. So, I mean, when you said that it isn't going to have a clean ending, I'm happy about that. Like, I don't think any ending should be wrapped up in a bow and, like kind of too good in it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it was too sickly sweet. Like, everything's just perfect. I'm glad you said messy. Messy is my favorite. It is my favorite. So, and I'm so excited to see more of them. So what about Aru and Aiden?
I don't know.
You don't know? No, you kind of left all of that out in book 4. I mean, I get you. Honestly, I'm just
I will say that the favorite scene that I got to write has to do with Aiden.
Okay. I'm definitely going to be looking out for that and sending an email or something because I need to know.
I'm dying to know what you think of it. I hope you love it.
I'm sure I already love it. That's how much I love it. So you did mention actually that you extended the series from 4 books to 5. So if you hadn't have done that, would City of Gold would you have been satisfied with City of Gold as the finale? Would you have changed a lot from it? And also, what was the decision behind extending it another book?
It honestly, the series would not have worked as 4 books ever. Like by the end of book 2, I would have shot that chance. So I was really, really lucky that they agreed to let me write a 5th one. But yeah, I mean, the real reason that the series necessitated 5 books is because there's another character who deserves space. Again, I hate doing this, but if you're familiar with the source material of the myths, you'll know why that has to happen. Like in terms of the sibling relationships, but that's why I needed 5 books. Okay.
I will be doing all my research. I will find out. I could just wait and just read the books and find out, but still I'm so impatient. Like literally, like Gavin digging for answers. I always do, and it always gets to this point when we're talking about the newest book and nobody can say anything about it because it's never out yet. And I'm just like, look, I really need to know. So it's all like I'm sure as a reader as well, you felt the same way about a lot of series.
Absolutely.
And you haven't had any inspiration to make this a Pandava octet, maybe?
I don't know. I think that by the end of book 5, I will have said everything I've needed to for now about Aru, and I know that I'm ready for something else. Also, my mom, who is Filipino, is just not pleased that there is no story especially written for her. It doesn't matter to tell her that research is taking me a long time and that I'm doing my best. She's just out here betrayed, so I have to do something.
I mean, we all feel betrayed. I mean, to be fair though, you did write book 4 for my birthday, so it's fine. I can live with that. Last few questions then before we wrap up. How will you be celebrating release day? Is it on Tuesday, the 6th of April? I think it's Tuesday. How will you be celebrating it? Will you be, I don't know, doing a little Zoom party or?
Yes, they're virtual, so everyone's welcome to attend. It'll be an event with, well, there's one on April 5th with Shannon Messenger, who's the author of, oh my God, why am I blanking
Keeper of the Lost Cities.
Yes, oh my gosh. And I could see the covers and I was like, what's wrong with me? And Shannon is a good friend. She's probably going to hit me. So Keeper of the Lost Cities is great. I get into constant shipping wars with myself when it comes to their characters. So we have an event on the 5th, and then on April 6th, it'll be me and my very good friend Jennifer Cervantes, who's the author of The Storm Runner with Rick Riordan Presents. So we'll be doing an event together. And then honestly, on April 6th, I will be getting my vaccine. And so we'll probably be sick. That's what I'm going to be for the rest of that day, just like shivering and unhappy. But we're one step closer to fully vaccinated. So woo.
Yeah, I'm so happy about that. I am so happy about that. My mum got hers last week and she didn't have any symptoms really. She just had the shakes. She was just really cold. So
yeah, that's what I just keep hearing. Like, it'll just be cold. So that's fine. I do anything. Yay, science. So.
Yay. So just to talk about the future then, just to wrap up, this question came through actually. Do you have any plans to write more about Indian mythology? But also, do you have more plans to write more middle grade after the Pandava Quintet series?
I love middle grade. I love middle grade so much. So I absolutely want to stay in this space. It's just a matter of figuring out what story is going to come next. I have some ideas, but I haven't quite figured out the emotional heart of them. So I'm working at that. There's something else that's not middle grade related that I hope we get to announce this month. So keep an eye on social media for that. As for Hindu mythology, I think I've said all I have to say for a while. As much as I love these stories, I've exhausted my inspiration from this stage.
It'll feel really complete once you finish the 5th book, I guess. Yes. How far into writing the 5th book are you? Can you say it?
Oh yeah, I just crossed the 51,000 mark today, which is very exciting. So more than halfway done. I don't know. I got to write this scene that I really hope my editor loves. It's like X Factor apocalypse. So
X Factor. Oh, cool.
I don't know. It was really fun. I was like, what am I doing?
It just comes out naturally.
Yeah, but asking myself, what am I doing is, really just the theme question of my existence, or what have I done?
It's 1-0. I feel that. So I guess the last question, is there any upcoming books that you want to tell us about that we know about that people can look forward to?
Well, there's Aru Shah and the City of Gold is out in the US next week. And then it's actually a big year. This is in September, the Gilded Wolves trilogy will finish. And if you haven't read it, it's like National Treasure-ish, but set in 19th century Paris. If you like found family, you might enjoy it. Anyway, I just have a lot of feelings for writing the ends of 2 series that have consumed my existence for half a decade, back to back. And then, oh my gosh, at the end of the month, it'll be the 5-year anniversary of my debut, which is The Star-Touched Queen. So trying to figure out if there's something special that I can do for that. But I loved writing that book. It's the thing that launched me into this space. And so I'm endlessly grateful.
And you have not stopped since. You are literally one of the most hardest working authors I know. So
thank you.
You deserve a break. Oh, anytime. I'm here to be your number 1 cheerleader. It's all good. So that is the end of the interview. Honestly, thank you so much, Roshani, for being part of this. And honestly, I know I'm so annoying. I know I always, it's all good. It's all good. We're friends now. So
true.
we're friends now. Exactly.
It's gonna be awesome.
Exactly. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for tuning in, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye everyone.
Bye.